So I started Mary Kay in 2018. It was before the pandemic, right before it. And in my community, Mary Kay was not a name that was used amongst the Black community. And so when I started the business, I knew that I was gonna have to educate myself on skincare, knowing at the same time that I needed skincare. And I knew that I would have to do my research and use the product because our community was not educated on why skincare was even important. Knowing that, we're thinking we don't need skincare because we have such, dark skin, and that we're protected by the sun, our community thought, well, skincare isn't for us. Not to mention the historical things that have happened to us as a people. Skincare is not something that was in a normal household that you would spend money to focus on your skin. A typical mother, a single mom, or a married woman would not think I'm going to spend, $100 and something on skincare, because you would think, well, I need to buy Pampers. I need to use this money to make sure that I look presentable, because I have to be, I have to go out into the community, out into the world, out into the job force and compete. And so you wouldn't never think I'm gonna spend some money on, or me time on skincare, hair, clothes, things like that, because culturally, African Americans, they do lead in fashion, at times. And you just don't think skincare. You don't think that Mary Kay, who was a white woman, would know anything about our skin. And so that's a normal thing to think. That's a normal thing to feel. And I knew that it was going to be a task and a challenge to take on the responsibility to say, well, come on, let me, bring a team on and let's educate our people on why skincare is important.
My experience with skincare before Mary Kay was pretty basic and almost non-existent. I was not the one who was interested in skincare because I didn't feel like I needed it. I was the person that you would have approached and said, I don't see a reason for anything concerning skincare. And that's because I didn't label my skin as bad. Now, mind you, I didn't know what to look for. I didn't care what to look for. I used my Noxzema, and I used some basic moisturizer from Walmart. And that was whenever I did and whenever I could. Other than that, I washed my face in the morning. I kept it pretty simple. And because I didn't see what most people consider, I guess, like major blemishes, major results, or those things that says, oh, you need skincare, then there was not really a reason to care for my skin, in my opinion, until I came into the company. And when you know better, you do better.
All I knew about skincare was, I grew up with watching my auntie use Noxzema, and I always saw Noxzema in my grandma's bathroom. I can't remember my mom using skincare at all. I'm not gonna say she didn't use it, but it definitely wasn't a huge part of our lives at all. And I had acne really bad growing up and even into teenage years and adulthood. So I kind of went on my own skincare journey-ish, but it was just Clearasil, the store stuff, Neutrogena. I think I might have tried Proactive when somebody else had it. But yeah, I tried astringents and witch hazel and alcohol, cleaning my face with alcohol. That was skincare for me. That was about it. Yeah.
I had no prior knowledge of skincare before Mary Kay. Not like a serious skincare line. I would go to the store. My mom would say, okay, you can use astringent or you need to try Noxzema. So those were literally my go-to. I tried Clearasil. When you're growing up, you have, breakouts and things on your face. So you try different products to try to see if it can help, but none of those products really work.
Because I come from different cultural backgrounds, it was difficult growing up. I would say I can't say I was really accepted on either side. It was something that I kind of went through. That's kind of part of my confidence, I didn't have as a child growing up because I wasn't really accepted being Black, nor was I accepted being white. And that was just something that I struggled with. So, being able to, of course, mature and become an adult, and then, starting to learn how to take care of my skin, that played a role as well as far as what I needed to do to take care of it. And that's where the confidence level came in at. It's different things, different types of skincare that I have to use. I love my Volume Firm. And then because I have the different cultural backgrounds, like I mentioned before, trying to just make sure that I use specific types because of, like for me, because I'm mixed, it ain't just, I know we talk about being, melanated, but then I also have, the whiter part of me are actually Mexican as well. So it's just different things that I have to do to try to take care of my skin outside of that. For me, it might be I've already, because I'm progressing and getting older now, I am developing maybe some freckles, things like that. I may have to do like the line reducer, something that maybe somebody else might not have to, necessarily do at my age currently. So that's something that, helped me with my confidence as an adult that I didn't necessarily think I had as a child. Of course, I wasn't doing the skincare then, but of course it helped me, now that I'm older.
Having bad skin made me feel bad. I was pastoring. I started in campus ministry, pastoring, preaching, just always looking for the skincare that could clear my skin up. I tried almost everything, from Lancome to Noxzema to, I tried everything. Clinique, I've even tried MAC, I tried everything. And I would look for makeup that was really like for burn victims because I needed to cover my skin because I speak publicly. And a lot of times I would preach and I would be afraid to sweat because when I would preach or teach the word under lights, and if it drained and it, I got those lines in my skin and you can start to see the black circles around my eyes, I hated it. I still went before people because that was my calling and it's my heart to, just to love on people, teach the word of God. But behind closed doors, I was very insecure. So I think one of the biggest memories I have is when I got married. And when I married my beautiful husband, Pastor Chris, I remember he was like, I want to see you with no makeup on. And I was like, huh? And I remember having to really just go naked and barefaced before my husband, and him, just grab my face and tell me that I was still, beautiful, and it went back to my childhood and just being dark skinned and not feeling comfortable being dark skinned growing up in California. And, people can be mean and, and call you, you so black, you sweat coffee. And I know you're probably laughing. But saying those things as kids, we all cultures go through that. But I remember that being something that was instilled in me, that it was ugly to be black, and I had other cultures, teasing me for being dark skinned, Or as I got older and it started to flower a little bit and be a little pretty, people would say, oh, you're pretty for a dark girl, or you got good hair to be dark, or you're a pretty big girl. Those things, they stick with us until we get older. And here I was, in my 40s and someone offering me Mary Kay. And I was thinking, do they really know about our skin? And I knew it was a good skincare line, but I didn't think it could really deal with my skin issues. You know what I mean? Because dealing with my skin issues meant that it was going to deal with my heart issues. It was going to deal with my insecure issues. And skincare is close to a woman and a man's heart, because if inside themselves, if they feel that they're not beautiful because of blemishes or imperfections, then it makes us shy away from what we're really called to do and who we're really called to be. And so I shied away in front of the camera. I wasn't my total full self because I felt that I had ugly skin and I was not comfortable in the skin that I was in. And so my husband told me that I was beautiful, and I just remember crying. And I would hear my mother's words. I would come home and say, Mama, they said I was so black. I was so black. And, I'm so dark. I'm 1201. I'm so black as midnight. I'm 1201. Just the things that people say on the bus or wherever. And my mother would always tell me, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. And it never dawned on me until finally I cleared up my skin. And now I'm in Mary Kay, and I understand now that the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Not to say that no one else is sweet, but I know that my juice is sweet. To be melanated means our dark skin has more lipid content. Lipid content means that we have more collagen. And because collagen is very dense, that means we have more of an appearance to look like we don't wrinkle. Now, the best way to say that is Black people for many years have had to have thick skin. So in our community, we usually say when someone has more fat content that they're thick, right? So Dr. Lorinda is thick, right? So we have thick skin culturally and even in the natural. We have thick skin, more fat content, plumper, just looks like, we don't have wrinkles. That's what it means to be melanated. Black Don't Crack is a perspective from a lens of a long history of scientific research that was done on Black people from slavery up into the present. And that lens was long based on how our bodies were made, how we were structurally, made in our physique, in comparison to other cultures. Also, it was plenty of research done on us and our skin and why we are made the way we are made in comparison to other cultures. And so the Black Don't Crack terminology was accepted by our community, and instead of looked upon negatively, we celebrate it as a truth and as something that we would be grateful and cherish, because as we all know, our people derived from Africa, and Africa is a very hot terrain where sun and where we were made it was okay. Sun was something we needed to be protected from, so it was made in our DNA to protect us from the sun. But however, in today's day, we need to address the fact that we have a world that is being destroyed daily, and our ozone layer is no longer protecting the world like it used to. And so now we have to protect ourselves. As always, we should have always protect ourselves, because just because black don't crack, it doesn't mean that we're invincible from the UV rays that we all, live our lives in every day. Black don't crack initially may have been something that was studied. It has now become accepted term, and has also been shared by our lighter sisters that have spoken about us. And so, black don't crack. So the beauty gang is made up of the cultural terms that we use in our community that were considered to be negative. The beauty gang is made up of all of the skin tones of African Americans. So I represent the dark chocolate or the chocolate girl, the black girl, and then we have the other beauty gang members. LaJacia represents the caramel color, the caramel color. Okay, right below me, skin tone represents my daughter, who is the mocha girl. So she is the brown skinned. Okay, and then we have Amber, who represents the red bone. So I know you're thinking red bone, yeah. Light skinned with the red undertone is the red bone girl. And then we have Asia, who represents the mixed girl, who's a mixed chick, which is not negative in our community because we see her as the same as us, but she is what they call sometimes high yellow or light skinned. And so what we wanted to do was bring skincare to the table, bring skincare back into the living room with the conversation that we usually have as people, and that crosses over into our African American men too. And that's the way we do, Oh, that's a dark skinned brother. Oh, he's high yellow brother. Oh, he's red bone brother. Or he's, or he's a brown skinned brother. Okay. And so the light skinned Asia, she kind of crosses over into our Spanish sisters that have African descent. And so we just wanted to bring that to our community so that we can sit down and have a round table talk about skincare. And you don't have to be black to understand, but you do need to understand our skincare and how we communicate. And so we also wanted to make sure that the things that we thought were negative, like let me think about being dark skinned. How do I feel about that? Because I feel good as being a dark skinned woman. Like I'm no longer ashamed about that or think it's ugly when I look in the mirror. And so I love the skin I'm in. And so that's what we want to do, is the beauty gang wants to come together because it's gang related, right? No, it's beauty related. And so that's what we want to do. So the beauty gang is all here, all the skin tones, Melanated Mary Kay, and we are going to take you through skincare. We're going to take you through what it means to take care of your skin and actually see some improvement. And so each one of us, we want you to join us. If you're chocolate, if you're mocha, if you're caramel, if you're light skin, if you're red bone, whatever it is, you can follow that person and go on the skincare journey with them so you can see what it is that you can use to improve your skin. Because remember, Mary Kay has been established by the Euromonitor as the #1 skincare in the world. Clock it.